Then you drift into sleep, and you aren't like jolted awake. It's not a feeling of a nightmare. You just hear and feel another presence in a dream-esque state. Think of not quite the White Room from the Matrix, but just another place. And you hear a very comforting,
It seems this place has allowed me to have some hold here. Do not be scared, Ven. You know me.
and you look down. You don't see really yourself, but you see where your heart is in your kind of dream state, and it is glowing bright.
Are you the one who gave me this gift?
I am. You have been using it well.
I have tried. I don't know everything about this. It's the only thing I can't control.
In all honesty, you have received the gift earlier than was intended.
What am I to do here?
I don't know how long we can talk, but Argenvost is an old friend of mine. Someone I haven't seen in a long, long time. But I worked alongside Julieta to try and give him some power back in this world.
Should I try to help him?
I would recommend it. It was our purpose for you, after all.
Before this ends, there is one thing I need to know.
Yes.
What is your name?
My name is Daskiln.
Thank you, Daskian.
You are very welcome, Vendela Greymire. Is there any questions you have for me? I do not know. The next time we will be able to talk.
Why was I chosen?
Your grandmother and I set aside some helping hands for you, some tasks. You were the chosen one for the savior of Barovia. At least we were going to try. But as you saw, a lich got in our way. Some dark form. Admittedly my own fault, but nonetheless.
How old is my grandmother? How long has she been around?
He chuckles.
Longer than I even know. She was quite old while we first talked. How much do you know of your grandmother?
I know that she was born in Barovia.
This is true.
And that she somehow escaped.
She did. I'm not quite sure of her dealings here. I know more of her dealings back in our normal world. I have not been to Barovia myself, so this is a unfortunate first. The initial plan was not to have me go with you, but to have your dragon go with you.
Arsene?
Not quite. That Arsene. That is a fitting name.
Arsene was meant to be with me?
Arsene was meant to be merged with you. What do you know of Arsene? She was just a egg by the time I gave her to you.
Yes, she was. I only saved her because she was there. You told me to, and that is what I did.
She was supposed to be merged with who you are to form a weapon against Barovia itself. However, timing did not work correctly.
If I do this with her, can I take down Strahd?
It will certainly help, that's for sure.
Is there anything you know about my mother?
Well, how much do you know of our scene?
I know nothing of her. I've seen her twice. Both times I was not alive.
And yet you walk us beside her each day without knowing it. The Silver Dragon companion you have had is a culmination of Argynvost's spirit and your mother's.
I did not know any of this.
I did not know that you would. We never were able to talk. However, this place is keeping the rest of Argynvost alive in some respect. I feel him, and for whatever reason is allowing me to live as well.
Where are you?
Inside your heart. It is my heart, after all.
I guess that's true. So what should I do in this temple?
Seek out Argynvost. See what he has to say to connect the dots. If I can speak at all, I must conserve my strength. You sleeping is certainly a help for having this discussion. I do not know if I can reach out enough. But seek out Argynvost. See what he has to say. Keep our scene close to you. We will see if the time can come that we can formulate Strahd's defeat through your combined forces.
I will do that.
Please do. Your grandmother will be very proud of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And you settle back into sleep as you watch the brightness in the heart dull and go to dark as you pass out. Rosalie, make a perception check, please.
Fucking game changer. I was listening to every single thing you were saying, and I was freaking out. Okay, recap. Our scene, part of our scene is Ven's mom, like, brain explosion. That's why she's so protective of him. They've been connected ever since, he first met our scene, first got our scene, and, now we find out whose Ven Hart actually comes from. Granted, Kent doesn't know this information, but, I know this information, and so I'm, freaking out because this is super cool, because now I want to know who this guy is, and I want to know how our scene's Ven's mom got and merged with this other thing to make our scene, and, is he talking about, how Ven and our scene now have become one? Are we talking about,
the fusion ha? Yeah.
The fusion ha dance? Or is it Digimon, digital monsters, where they digivolved to a point where the person came into the Digimon and they were one, and then they split up? Or is it just they become, I've got so many questions.
It's Vendalar, what was his name? Is Vendalar Greymon? So after this it'll turn into War Greymon?
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
I've heard Patamon. So.
Yeah.
That's true.
All right.
My perception was 18.
Okay. I'm back in.
So you keep watch at night. You hear very faintly in the distance creaks on the floors throughout the house. You hear scuttering noises to one of the rooms to the south, which is going to be say if you enter the mansion, south is on the right-hand side. So you hear some skittering there. It's very, very faint, though.
Is it big skittering? Is it small skittering?
Many legs skittering.
I believe big skittering is called stomping.
Centipede?
It's not the answer I wanted.
It's not the answer anyone wants.
No.
So you hear some sounds throughout. Nothing really bothers you. You do see every so often the shadow pass over, but nothing bothers
Does it
you.
have a time? Is it like routine? Is it just
Random.
Okay.
But it feels like something is watching you, and you know that feeling that you get like with the hair standing on the back of your neck and you can't really give a reason why? You have that.
Okay.
So you're comfortable. Have a great night. Yeah, it's great.
It's peace. Right. Got the warhammer on one hand, the wife in the other.
All right. So after your watch, who wants to take watch after?
Oh, Ferguson, definitely.
Okay. So Ferguson, you make a perception check. Or unless you guys want to have a chat in between, that's up to you.
You want to tell me what's going on?
It's some little buggies. Lots of leagues over on the right side. A shadow. Happens every once in a while. It's a super spooky kind of place. Have fun.
That it?
Yeah.
Okay. Ferguson, make a perception check, please.
15.
15. Okay. So you hear the exact same things that Rosalie heard, along with, and Rosalie would have heard this too. Everyone's light little snoring going on. So if there's anything else you want to do, or prep, or anything, that's up to you. But otherwise, we'll go to the morning.
Nah, that's all.
Cool. So you guys all wake up. Then you still feel the warmth in your heart a bit. It is a bit more dull. You could probably put together the fact of what Das Kiln was talking about earlier, that maybe he used a bit of energy to be able to talk to you.
Right.
So it's a little dull. You don't feel weakened at all, but it's definitely whatever essence is in there. It's definitely used a bit to talk.
Okay.
But I would think that you would think maybe you're a little bit worth it. Maybe him too. Give you a little bit of clarity.
Definitely.
When you wake up, you do all level up to level 6. So you look over to Arsene, and Arsene is bigger. Would you like to describe Arsene, Ven?
So our scene is now the same size as Ven and Ferguson, but a little bit taller. Now, I would say when she's walking on all fours, is about the exact same size as Kent. Her body comes a little bit above your head, Kent, and her wings are now fully formed out from her, and they're huge. And you hear a low guttural growl as her mouth actually starts to move and wakes up Ven.
Okay. So, yeah, Arsene wakes up Ven and essentially goes, in a language you guys don't understand, Ven, wake up.
What? I'm awake. I am awake, Arsene. Oh shit! You can talk. Oh shit!
You can understand me now.
Yes.
This is great. And she pounces on you.
Oh my god. Does
that wake everybody else?
Yes, I would think so.
I wanted Arsene to just lift Kent up in his sleep and just swing him around the room. What's going on? No, doesn't have to happen. Sorry.
It's a bit of a change. Do you think that it was that the house? Was that the house that did this?
No, I don't think that was the house, but we cannot leave. There is something I need to do here. There is something very important that me and Arsene need to do here. We are both tied to this house.
Okay.
All right, she looks at you and gives you a look of, what?
I'll talk to Arsene and be like, there is something that is supposed to happen here for us. I know this will sound weird, but I spoke to the dragon that gave me the heart that I have in my sleep last night.
You're right, that is weird.
Yes. We need to do something here. We need to explore the house and we need to find Argenvost. You possibly have ties to this person.
She looks around, does a little bit of thinking. That sounds very familiar to me for some reason. I cannot figure out why.
I think that is why we should be here to figure that out.
Okay, if you say so.
All right.
Ben's like, geez, Mom, stop bugging me. Ugh. Sorry.
Okay. So it is now daytime. You wouldn't know that because the doors are closed, but it is daytime outside.
Oh, do I still have my temporary hit points taken from me?
What did you have the temp hit points taken away from?
The book.
The book. Yes, is gone. Yeah.
After a long rest, you just roll 1 hit die, right? And that's
No, you're back to full after a long
Back
rest.
to full. And you gain half your hit dice back if you used any during a short rest.
Oh, I have all my spells back too.
Yes,
And I
you
can
do.
change my spells out. Yes.
Wait, did anybody get anything new and exciting that they want to tell the group?
Oh, yeah. Why don't we do that? What did you get when you leveled up? Let's go
Arsene
with...
grew up. That's it.
Arsene grew up. Ferguson, what did you get?
I got some fancy new spells that I'll break out later.
Okay, cool. Rosalie, we just met you, so we'll see what
Everything's
comes.
new.
Yeah.
Everything's new. It's a surprise for everyone, especially me.
Nice.
And Kent, what did you get?
Basically, I just felt like since Kent has been through a shit ton recently, I just gave him 2 extra wisdom points, make him a little bit more street smart, and also doubly, it causes me to gain a grit point that I could use whenever I would like.
Cool. And for people who do not know grit points, because it's not a normal class, it's one from Matthew Mercer, a grit point is essentially like a key point or, any of the other normal point values that are associated to the other classes. But this is just called grit. And he can use that for getting advantage on shots or aiming at particular areas. Like, they will have different things down the line.
Yes, sir. Well explained.
Thank you. So you guys all wake up, and you are now looking around the room. You, again, have those 6 double doors. You have the upstairs with a lot of different ways to go. So have at it.
Ferguson pulls out a bottle of wine, drinks some of it, and then taps Kent on the shoulder with it.
Hey, can I have some of that?
That's why I'm tapping you on the shoulder, then.
Ah, look at you making a kind gesture. I like it.
What the fuck do you think I was hitting you for with it?
Oh, I don't know. Sometimes you're a jerk. It just happens.
Okay.
I never hit you
Sometimes-
with a wine bottle.
Yeah, good point. You wouldn't waste the wine.
There are
Appreciate it.
no windows in this room.
There are... Let me see if it says anything.
Ferguson, I will break you down. You and Kent will become best friends. It will happen.
It doesn't say there are any
You're talking
windows.
about yourself in the third person.
Actually, I will say that there are,
Yeah,
dust-covered
it's in
windows
character.
in towards the
Ferguson,
entrance.
you will love Kent.
Hold on, Nick. Hold on. There are dust-covered windows on the left and right-hand side of the double doors when you came in, so I guess you would see a very dull light coming in for morning.
And then the first thing you see when you walk in this way are the 2 staircases, right?
Yeah, directly in front of you is a staircase going up, and it splits going up the left and right-hand side to the balcony. There are a double door to your left and right. There's 2 of them. And then on the far wall, there's another 2 double doors.
Bucky, did Ven wake up noticeably, committed and serious, like he has a plan?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Kent will join in on whatever you want to do.
I would like Ferguson and Kent to come close to me, and I call them over, like, guys, come over here. I do not know what we are going to find here, but I do think that we need to remain as sneaky as possible. So I'm going to do this. And I put my hand on both of their shoulders, and I blow both my level 2 spells to cast Dark Vision on the both of them.
Ooh, nice.
And that lasts, you guys have Dark Vision out to 60 feet for 8 hours.
Nice.
All right, then.
We're about to head off into this, right?
Yeah, that's up to you guys.
Let's
Okay.
do it.
And,
Then I think since you're the one who wants to hang out here, you lead the way.
That's fine. Me and Arsene will be in front.
I'll be right behind you.
I don't get the sense that I guess I sense the shadow moving past upstairs, so I'm going to assume that we should probably go upstairs first.
Well, the way that it would have went is it would have went up the staircase and then coming down alongside the wall and come into the shadow on one of the walls on the left-hand side.
Okay. Then I'll say we should go to the door on the left first. That is where the shadow went, and I do believe that that is possibly what we are here to find.
Lead the way.
Let's do it.
Makes sense?
I walk
Okay.
over to the door on the left, and I check for traps.
Okay, make an investigation check, please.
A 16.
It is not trapped. It is not locked.
Cool. I'll open it up.
Okay. You look inside. This wood-paneled den has been ransacked. Its furnishings tossed about. A cold, dark hearth dominates the west wall between 2 narrow windows. Standing upright against the north wall is a sarcophagus made of black wood with a queen's effigy carved into its lid.
All right. Well, I'll walk in, and I'll motion for everybody else to come in with me.
Okay. You guys go into the room.
I also motion for them to turn the torch out. because we don't need it anymore.
Okay. And so
Oh, that hasn't been burning since last night.
It's been
it's a 15 by 15 foot room that's in there. As you walk in and you look around the room, all of a sudden the fireplace lights up, and a fire erupts in the dead hearth and assumes a draconic form. It hisses, crackles, and unfurls its smoky wings. Please roll initiative.
Kent pees himself just a little bit.
17.
12.
3.
Natural
Good
20
roll.
for Ven.
Don't laugh.
So it's 22 for Ven.
Hey, I was laughing because of the face you made. You're just like, yep, that's right.
So 15 for Arsene.
Okay. So Vin, you go first. You just see this draconic form in the hearth.
I want to speak out in Draconic towards it. Who are you?
It responds to you and goes,
My knights have fallen into darkness. Save them if you can. Show them the light they have lost.
You sound like Snoke.
You're welcome. And then after it says that, the fire goes out. And behind you, against the far wall, a shadow comes up and encompasses the room. And out from the ceiling comes the shadow. And it forms into a silver shine ghost element. And it gives a very odd look towards you, Ven, in our scene. Goes,
Your presence here is interesting. Who are you? State your purpose.
My name is Vendelar Greymeyer. I am friends with Daskir.
and you feel at the same time that your heart is like, it's not burning, but it is hot in the sense of complete warmth and comfort for you. And you see the shadow back down towards the wall and emerge a very ghost-like, not specter, but spectral form of a dragon that is a lot less intimidating, but still not the best looking of things.
At this point, I'd like to put my hands out and, like, basically in an effort to make everybody hold behind me and not attack yet.
Doskir is a very good friend of mine, or was. How do you know him?
A part of him is with me. I carry on his legacy.
Julieta.
Juliet is my grandmother.
She has kept her word then.
Yes, or so it would seem.
It has been a very long time to be here. Very well, you can stand down for the time being.
I turn to the group and I say, we can stand down for now. Do not worry, he will not harm us.
He looks at you and then looks down at the silver dragon, or Arsene for that matter, and goes,
You, dragon. You are the one who holds part of me. It's been hundreds of years. Cannot believe that it's finally happening.
We are here to carry on what was meant to be done. I do not know much about what was meant to be done. I have only spoken with Daskir once, last night. And my grandmother...
He is alive then?
Inside me, yes.
he cocks his head and looks down and seems to pierce through you a bit with his eyes.
He has found the human host for his heart. Vendelar Greymeyer, the Pendragon. It is a pleasure to meet you. My apologies. I am Argenvost, leader of the Order of the Silver Dragon.
It is a pleasure to meet you also.
Unfortunately, this is not the place of good that it used to be. It has been years where the Order has not been able to live in the best of ways. They are all dead, vengeful. revenants bent on the destruction of Strahd, or so they were. Now they like to see him suffer. Are you here to finally help us lead the way to his demise?
I am.
What do you know?
I know that me and Arsene were meant to be one at one point. That is all I know.
That is very true. I am curious why that is not the case.
I do not know. There was a lich that got in our way. That brought about an end to Daskir. He, in a last-ditch effort, bestowed his energy to me. And I had to rescue Arsene.
That is interesting. I guess it was not time, but yet fate brought you together nonetheless. So Julieta did not tell you what she had planned herself.
No.
Do you know anything of her time here?
I have her journal that has told me some of what's just happened here. But most I know is just children's stories she would tell me.
What did she tell you about me and the Order and your purpose?
Nothing. She did not mention that to me.
What about in her journal?
I'll flip open the book again.
Make an investigation check.
18.
Okay, you look through. You don't see anything still, but you do see, like very faintly in there, are light runes through the journal on different pages. They seem to be hidden behind the letters.
I did not see this before. What are these runes?
Perhaps now, since Duskiln has talked to you, since you have gained experience looking, you have seen it with new eyes. Your grandmother was a very powerful spellcaster, learned many things in the Amber Temple. She knows much. More than likely, she hid this message for you for when you are ready.
Do I know what the message is?
Make an Arcana check.
No, 9.
9. You have no idea what it says, but Argynvost will tell you.
More than likely, she has hidden her words that are brought forth with a command word. That was something of her specialty when she was here. She liked to protect her knowledge.
That seems about right.
Well, since you cannot read the text yourself, let me illuminate you what your grandmother did for us. She was here hundreds of years ago. Just a healer. A seer, eventually, after she trained with Madame Eva, if you have met her.
Yes.
They became friends as she has befriended us. She was amongst the Order of the Silver Dragon here until Strahd entered the land. Once he got here and he had his eyes set for the destruction of this place and me, your grandmother decided it was best to go to the place that we held off limits to find the information that no one wanted. The Amber Temple.
What is the Amber Temple?
The Amber Temple is a place of the darkest of magic, where liches and dark entities hold their secrets, where Strahd has his power now. He received his gift from the Amber Temple itself. There were once cults in this land dedicated to finding and understanding the dark powers. But none got there because of us. We safeguarded the location. But your grandmother figured it was best to use the information to our advantage. So, against our better judgment, we cast her out to go search for answers. We did not agree with her decisions, but there was no stopping your grandmother. You know her. Once she had her mind set on something, that's what it was.
That is true.
She took with her dear friend and the only person who agreed with her, Elena. They searched for the temple, and what they did there is beyond me, but when they got back, I was already dead. But still alive somehow. Your grandmother informs me that she made a few deals and had a special book in her collection. A book that discussed souls.
Yes, I do have that book with me.
That is a very powerful book. Make sure it does not end up in the wrong hands. If that ends up in the grasp of Strahd, we are lost, even more so than now. She can potentially regain her soul back.
I will make sure that that does not happen.
Keep in mind that promise, because if it goes poorly, well, you see what he does here. Imagine what he can do elsewhere. Using the information she found, she took part of my soul, which is now in your dragon. But if I understood the ritual correctly, she had to make a massive sacrifice herself, though what that is beyond me. I know she was not exactly excited to go about it, but she pledged herself to the cause, to destroy Strahd. So she was going to take me in another form, outside of this world, grow me, become stronger, and come back and help rid this world of what has made it so evil.
As far as I know, my grandmother is dead. I watched her die.
I am sorry to hear that. Probably of old age. She did inform me that one of the gifts that she received was she would live as long as she never left the Amber Temple. The only catch was every second that she remained alive, her friend would age that amount as well, on top of her own. She would not die. She would just get older and older and older, feeling the effects of long life, way beyond the time that she should be dead. And then once the deal was broken and she left the Amber Temple, her friend would finally pass on. She left and she came here after 100 years. Informed me of what was to happen, took the soul fragment from me, got out of the grasp of all the people here that felt that she abandoned them. Safe to say everyone here was not very happy with her. And made a deal with Madame Eva to go back to the normal material plane and continue to exercise our plan in secret and in safety. That is unfortunately all I know.
So then where should I go from here?
From here, it looks like you are ready to be merged with your dragon. I believe your grandmother did leave something in that Souls book for the combination of souls.
I will go to reopen the book again.
Okay. You go to reopen the book, and your blood is still attached to the book.
Okay, cool. So then I'm going to open it up.
All right, make an investigation check.
16.
All right. You go through, and Arsene is also like peering over your shoulder as you're looking. And you do see something in Draconic, and it's also mixed with another language. You recognize this as one language you didn't understand, but Ferguson did. It was Abyssal.
Okay. Ferguson, I'm going to need your help here.
All right, with what?
So, Ferguson, you look over and you read as well, and it takes two different bits of lore from Draconic nature of shape-changing and the ability to manipulate oneself, and Abyssal, where it takes the idea of phylacteries and soul transfer, and combines the two magics in a very haphazard, not quite tested way. or it may be tested, you don't really know, but it seems like her own design with notes in a handwriting that you do recognize as your grandmother's from the journal, of how to tweak things and how to merge things. And it's essentially a spell and a ritual for the merging of souls.
So then I guess over time, I would like to work with Ferguson to like get down how it's actually going to work so that I can prep it.
Okay.
And memorize it.
Argynvost says,
if you have the spell and the ritual in the book, which it seems you have found, I can help coach you through how to get it done. I did talk elaborately with your grandmother to prep for this day.
I look over towards Arsene and I say, in Draconic, because that's all she speaks, do you understand what has to happen?
Yes, I believe this was my purpose. Do we trust it? How much do you trust your grandmother?
I trust her a lot. She would never lie to me.
And I trust you. So if this is something that you think we should do, let's do it.
All right. Let's do it.
okay, Argynvost obviously understood everything you were just saying.
Yep.
And he goes,
we've never actually done it before, I will be honest, but we did go over it and prepare as much as possible. This will take a couple hours, and it is good your friends are here to help. Would you like to start the ritual?
Yes. Let us do this now while we have time.
Understood.
So you see the shadow retract back into the room, and it's a lot less intimidating of a presence for Argynvost now, as he essentially perches as a shadow would on a random bit of the wall.
I would like to turn to the party now that we're done talking in Draconic for now, just to like catch them up on what's going on. I want to say to them, so guys, this is Argynvost. He is going to help something happen that needs to happen. Arsene and I were not meant to be separated. We were meant to be one. And we need to make that happen so that I can become a weapon to destroy Strahd. And I'm going to need your help to do it.
Alright, I don't fucking know what you're talking about, but alright.
I pretty much agree with it.
Okay. Just make sure nothing comes in and that we are safe. This is going to take several hours.
So there are 2 doors that lead into this area. So if one of you guys would like to perch up at each one, that is up to you.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
Yep. I'll take a door.
Okay, Ken takes the door. Who takes the other door?
I'll take the other door.
Alright.
Okay. Ferguson, you are left in the room. The other 2 are at the other doors. I'm essentially guessing you guys are holding them shut or something.
I guess maybe in that sense, Ferguson and I should switch.
Okay.
Ferguson, you are stronger than I am, and I can shoot at whichever door.
Range.
If something, yeah. I have some range attack, so I can shoot at whichever door needs to be shot at.
Sounds like a good fucking idea.
Okay. So you guys plant up. Then this is going to be a series of checks.
Okay.
Actually, Ferguson, he'll probably need your help to read the abyssal.
Well, I guess I can help him. But that's gonna leave a door open.
Alright, then I'll do what I can to protect the door.
So then I need you to make an Arcana check.
16.
Ferguson, please make an Arcana check.
21.
21. Okay, you both read and you go through the ritual and just try to work it out in your head. Argynvost chips in every so often while you guys are discussing to recommend different ways to definitely skip over errors. And you think you have a pretty good handle on what your grandmother was going for. So you stand in the center of the room and Arsene stands back to back with you. And then you actually, I'm sorry, not back to back, chest to chest kind of deal, like staring at each other. And then you have the book in the middle and start to read out the incantation for it. The fire in the back starts to light up a little bit. Arsene begins to pace around you, you're giving her instructions of exactly how to walk, You present your hands in different ways, and in the middle of going about it, you don't quite get it the first time around. The second time around, you do see that there's a weird feeling in the air as you're moving your hands. And about the third time, in the middle of one of the incantations, it's like there's a gold and silver intertwined force that emits from your fingers. And it's like you're dragging it out of the air itself. And you see Argynvoth's shadow move alongside the wall to watch what's going on. And as you get that bit, you pass the book over to Ferguson, and he would read the next part of it. And you see out of Arsene's mouth starts to come fire instead of ice, which is very strange considering the fact that she has nothing to do with fire at all. And as she walks around a bit, you see that her leg gets attached to Ven's, and her body starts to pull around like a very slow-moving tornado around Ven's leg, and her tail gets wrapped up. And you hear a as part of her body just rips into Ven's. You see Ven's side bulge out to the left. And Ven, this is painful.
I would
like
imagine.
This is not an easy process. This is ripping your body apart and reforming it. And you watch as the scales kind of just reform on your own body. And it reaches inside of your chest, and you feel your hot heart all of a sudden shift to a cold, icy feel. Not harmful, but the exact opposite of what you normally feel. And then it shifts right back to hot again, and shifts to cold, and shifts to hot, as more and more of Arsene merges into you. And eventually her head and yours merge together, and you crouch down and grab at your heart and grab at your arms, and there's a weird itch going over all of your skin, and you can't scratch it. It will not go away. And eventually your heart calms and settles in to a nice, warm feel. And the itch gradually goes away. And you have control over yourself. And you feel not alone. And not like it was Das Kiln earlier. You feel a very familiar presence. And you stand up. Would you like to describe how you look?
Let me grab my other character sheet.
What? Another what?
Bucky went full weeb.
So before you actually see a strange version of Ven. You see silver scales that come all the way up his neck. The face itself actually protrudes out like a dragon's snout. A lot of features of him resemble that of a dragon. There's scales that basically encompass now his entire body. His fingers and feet have reformed into dragon claws. You, in the moment, actually see a shifting. It's a shift. The scales are shifting in color between both gold and silver at the same time. And when it's happening, you actually see as they shift from one to another, the features shift. When it's gold, you see more Ven. When it's silver, you see a more feminine form appear.
Have at it.
Picked such a good episode to come into!
What?
So, Argynvoth, seeing that you are settled,
How do you feel?
We feel great. We feel like this was meant to be. And the scales shift to silver, and you hear, I think I can get used to this.
Good. This taken well, then.
I think so. Yes.
So, then, wait. How would you like to be called?
There's a pause for a minute as you kind of sense that there's an inner conversation going on, and the scales just shift back to gold again, and you hear, just call us Ven for easier sake.
Understood. Then, congratulations with your transformation. You are now a weapon of the Order of the Silver Dragon, as is wished by Julieta. Upstairs, you will find one of the leaders of the Order of the Silver Dragon who's a bit concerned with the state of things. Not very happy, and was not very happy with your grandmother. But lying with him is an ancient artifact that I own to myself, which I would like to gift to you for your upcoming battle. It is the Cloak of Argynvost. It will not be easy to retrieve it, but I believe it will be a test of your new powers and ability. Seek out Vladimir and see what he can do for you.
I think I can do that.
Unfortunately, he is not very happy with me either, since I have not allowed him happiness. He is here against any of his own wishes he cannot pass on. And I really cannot make much of a scene outside of this room. This used to be my quarters, my study, where I lived, where I learned. So outside of here, you only sense my presence, but I cannot interfere. Good luck, and keep your eyes about you in my mansion. There are much more things in here that are troublesome. If you need to rest, my room here is open to you.
Thank you, Argynvost.
You are very welcome, then.
And his shadow slips back into the wall, and the fire dims down a bit.
Okay, I've got some questions.
Yeah, you're gonna have to explain a lot to me right now, Ven. Ven.
A lot of
Ven?
hissing, and then a lot. There was a lot.
So this is apparently what was meant to be. This is what was supposed to happen, but there was something that got in the way. I was meant to be with Arsene this whole time, and we were meant to be this weapon to dispose of Strahd. Arsene is still here, with me. We are one.
Will you always be this way, or will you eventually go back to your old self?
You see the scale shift to silver, and they say, "Well, I think I can get used to this for now. I do not know if this is supposed to be everything that we do, but yes, that is. We are meant to kill Strahd, and that is what we will do."
How do you feel? Just like your old self, or different?
I feel great. And then the scale shift to gold, and you hear, "This feels weird." But I think I will get used to it.
So this was something you... I don't know anything about you, but this is something... This is gonna kill Strahd. This is gonna let people leave this place.
I think this will help. And there is something else here, an artifact I am supposed to find that belonged to Argynvost that will help us as well. It is not the sword, but it will help. We are to go find Vladimir. He has this artifact. He is somewhere in this house. We are meant to find him. And persuade him, however we can, to give it to us.
I can be very persuasive.
Should we tell him that there's a lot at stake, Vladimir?
Yes. So, anything else you would like to ask, Kent?
Will we still be buddy cop duos?
The scale shift to silver. Arsene and Kent. Arsene and Kent. That is not going to change. Do not worry about that. And you hear...
Fist pump in the air.
She actually sang that in halfling.
Nice. Oh, awesome. Fist pump in the air. Excited for the new adventures.
This is just what this is in this place.
Yes, Barovia is
Meet up
this
with
way.
a bunch of people, speaky house, listen, combining. Okay, let's do it then.
Ferguson, anything from you?
And I look up. I've been flipping through the Souls book.
Ferguson's fine with everything. He's just, yep.
This is normal.
This is the new norm now. Ferguson's already moved on.
Ferguson told you how he feels about things last session.
Are you looking for anything in particular in Soul's book, or just taking a gander?
Not anything in particular, just more information.
Okay, let's make an investigation check.
17.
Okay, you see more of what you were seeing earlier. You really understand what was going on with Ven's ritual, at least from the abyssal portion. You notice some things about anchoring souls to particular bodies or items. You notice the capturing of souls, one of which I believe I may have mentioned this last time was the idea of the soul gems, which the hag had that you picked up. You see a lot of different lore pertaining with the longevity of life, the transfer of souls, the housing of souls, capturing, all that good stuff.
Okay. I snap the book closed and toss it at Vin. Whatever gets the job done.
All right, let's keep going and find this Vladimir.
Cool. So you are currently in that room, and you have the door that you came through initially. And you have the door that the other person was guarding.
So where to next?
Sorry, I'm fixing my papers. Everything is different now. Let's go to the door that I guess Kent was watching. The other door that's not the one we walked into.
Sure. Okay.
Voila, I picked the right door.
I will save you a short period of time. It is not locked. It's not trapped.
Cool. Let's go in.
Tattered velvet drapes cover the tall, slender windows that encircle this parlor. The furnishings are covered with dust and cobwebs and lie in disarray. A damaged brass chandelier hangs from the ceiling, which is covered with a faded mural that depicts metallic dragons and colorful birds flying beneath white clouds. Keep in mind, again, since you left the room with the chandeliers, it will be dark in here.
Everybody has dark vision now.
That is true. So ignore that, but it is still true. So you don't really see nothing of value in this room. It just seems like just a room on the way to other things.
All right.
Yeah.
And there is a door here as well.
All right, let's walk up to that door.
Cool. So you go through this door, and you notice that there's a bit of stairs that go down and then comes up the other side, dips to the left. This is essentially an iron-gated area that leads to outside. And there is a door on the other set of stairs down the hallway. When you look at the gate itself, it looks like there is a chain and padlock shutting this gate closed.
Okay, so it's the gate, and then there's a door elsewhere?
Yeah, so like if you walk in the door, down the hall, it goes downstairs and upstairs to another door, and to your left, there's a gate leading into here that leads to the outside.
Okay. Then we'll just go straight. I'll just go straight across. Okay. I don't want to go outside yet.
Cool. So the next room, just make a quick investigation check for traps and locks, please.
16.
16. It is not locked, it is not trapped.
Cool. Let's go.
Cool. In here, there's tattered brown drapes that cover the windows of this circular room, and a heavy curtain hangs across an archway to the south. Strewn about the floor is the wreckage of half a dozen beds and other pieces of furniture. You look around, there's really nothing of value very much, but it looks like the curtain leads into another area.
All right, I'm going to walk over to it and try and sneakily peek in and see if I can see what's inside.
Okay, make a stealth check, please.
We don't already know that this we're looking for this other dragon creature,
Vladimir.
correct?
Yeah, Vladimir.
But we don't know that he's like hostile. Like we don't think that we don't know for sure he's going to attack us. Right?
I mean, when
so
I
we're just,
spoke, I said
looking
we
for
had
this
to
man.
persuade him with the heaviest quotation marks I've ever quotation marked on a thing ever. So I heavily implied we're going to have to kill him.
Oh,
Did you
okay. All right.
tell the rest of the party, though, that he's upstairs, or did you keep that to yourself?
I didn't say that because I forgot that was the thing.
Okay.
I'm glad you said it, because I forgot if I said it.
So then, well,
So at this point, I'm going to ask, did he give you any directions to where this guy might be?
now that I think about it, he's supposed to be upstairs.
Okay, so in the wrong direction. Come on.
Yep, let's go back the other way.
Let's move along.
Okay. So you go to move the curtain and go, all right. And you turn it back around and you walk down the exact area that you went. You went back into the main hall where the stairs go to upstairs, which you have been to before. So I take it you're just going to go straight upstairs.
Yep.
If I were to have peeked behind the curtain, what would have been there? Would have been like would have been attacked by a monkey.
There would have been a Draco Lich that would have ate you.
No.
Ah, no! Thank God we turned around.
Okay, so when you go upstairs, this is going to be very weird to explain, but I have to explain it over audio so it carries. So when you walk into the grand hall area, the foyer, you go up the main stairs, and these stairs branch to the left and to the right. And when you go up there, there's a hallway that continues in both directions to the... Like if you're looking when you first came in the front door, it'll extend all the way to the left and all the way to the right, if that makes sense.
Like a T.
Yeah, like a T. And there's also, if you continue further into the mansion, it looks like there are double doors in a couple different areas, like little alcoves for closets, and then also 2 against a very, very far back wall. So you can either go down a hallway to the left, a hallway to the right, or explore a whole bunch of double doors.
I'm gonna suggest to go to those peak double doors at the front, at the far end wall, alright?
Yeah. Let's do that.
Double doors always lead to either something dangerous or exciting.
Peak double doors at the far end hall. Are you talking about like all the way on the top?
All the way on the top, yeah.
Okay. Make an investigation check, please, if you'd like to check the doors.
My investigation actually went way down in this new form. That's a 13 now.
Natural 20.
Well, never mind.
There's no lock. There's no trap.
I would like to go through the door.
Okay. So you go through the door, and this wooden balcony overhangs the mansion's chapel. An exquisitely carved wooden throne rests at the west end between 2 doors, which is where you came through, and narrow archways lead to spiral staircases going up and down. Hanging from the high ceiling is an iron chandelier with candle holders shaped like tiny silver dragons. When you look down from there, you look into the chapel itself. There's cracked wooden pillars that support a wooden U-shaped balcony, which you're on, that overhangs the stone-walled chapel. Narrow archways lead to spiral staircases that curl up to the balcony, and a door set into the north wall has a wooden beam barring it. At the east end of the chapel rests a stone altar flanked by iron candelabras. The altar is carved with a rising sun bas-relief. Tall, arching windows set with panels of stained glass decorate the walls behind the altar. One of the windows has been shattered, covering the chapel floor with shards of colored glass and allowing thick fog to enter and fill the room. Through the fog, you see 3 armored figures kneeling before the altar.
Okay, well, first of all, I want to go back for a second, and as we walk up the stairs, Ferguson pulls out his sword and runs it across his palm, and it sucks up some blood and goes creepy again.
Okay, noted.
Are those armored figures like stationary, like are they statues, or is it like a literal armored figure, like just praying before the altar kind of thing?
You can't really tell, there's fog there, but before I go too far, were you keeping that from Rosalie, or were you doing that in view of her?
Oh, I was doing it in view of her. I don't have any
Person has no
concern of
secrets.
So
I care what a fucking dwarf thinks of me.
So what does Rosalie see?
Rosalie sees Ferguson pull his blade off his back, grab the blade with his left hand, and just pull his hand down it. But where you would expect to see blood, it doesn't. No, there's no blood like along the blade, and instead, the blade goes oily, and tentacles that are etched into it begin to glow red.
Yeah, that's the thing that he does, and we just have to accept it because he hasn't explained it very well.
You have entered this party at a very weird time in our life.
Taking Initiative is a product of the Spark Network. Imagine what your idea can do. For updates on the show, future news, and all things nerd, visit us on thespark.network. If you wish to conjure us on social media, you can cast message on Twitter with the handle @TI_pod, Facebook at the Taking Initiative Podcast page, and Tumblr at takinginitiativepodcast.tumblr.com. If you enjoyed the show, please leave us a review on iTunes, as it helps us grow so we can put out more content for you.
I'm Josh Perot, and I'm the DM. You can find me on Twitter at XyroxisTheBeard. That's XIROXIS the Beard.
This is Jonathan Buckmaster. I am the voice of Vendalar Greymeyer. You can find me on Twitter at Bucky_Masters.
Oh, this is Drew Tillman, and I play Ferguson. You can find me over on Twitter at NotADeadDrew.
This is Nicholas Figueroa, and I play the sometimes rude but always lovable Kent Brickwood of the East Farthing Brickwoods. You could find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at NicoFigs. That's at NIKOFIGS.
This is Morgan Conroy. I play Rosalie or Roz. You can find me on Twitter at ThistleRaven.
This episode was edited by John Buckmaster and Josh Perot. The original artwork for the Behind Silver Eyes logo was created by Kati Kawaguchi of Nerds on a Roll. You can find her on Twitter at _KidKatie. All modifications for the arc were done by Josh Perot. The Behind Silver Eyes theme song was created by Neil Martin of The Lucky Die. You can find him on Twitter at Bardic Martin. Any additional music was created by Kevin MacLeod in the Incomtech website. Any information about those songs can be found in the episode's description. To give credit to the classes played in this episode, the Pendragon class played by John Buckmaster was created by Daresight Phantom on Reddit. The Gunslinger class played by Nick Figueroa and the Bloodhunter class played by Drew Tillman were both created by Matthew Mercer. The Oath of Devotion Paladin, played by Morgan Conroy, is straight from the 5th edition Player's Handbook. The D&D 5e rule set and the Curse of Strahd module are both property of Wizards of the Coast. If you're enjoying the show and would like to support us, please visit us at patreon.com/Taking Initiative. There you'll find early access to episodes and bonus content.